How about we play a little game, a dangerous detective game? To get to the next level, you'll need to do your best at the previous one. So let's see how powerful your analytic powers are. The first level isn't too hard. You'll need to choose the correct answer among the suggested options. Here we go! Look at this image. Your first task is to figure out which of these students is cheating on the exam. This girl rummaging in her bag? This thoughtful guy on the left? The red-headed guy in the back? Or this know-it-all? And the correct answer is C. The girl might just be looking for a pen in her bag, but the ceiling is reflective, and the red-haired guy is trying to see the answers of the boy sitting in front of him. The next one for you. Look at these people. Who is a ghost? This young man in torn clothes? Or perhaps this man with creepy stains? Maybe the lady with scratches on her face? Or this weirdly pale boy? And the correct answer is C again. Have you noticed that the woman's arm is kind of twisted? But she doesn't seem to be bothered by this fact. So she must be the ghost we need. Now, you need to spot a fake nurse. Be very attentive, or this play pretend may end in tragedy. Is it this woman with a stain on her scrubs? Maybe it's this smiley nurse. Or is it the nurse in the middle? The correct answer is B. This lady looks very cheerful, that's true. But are those vampire fangs in her mouth? This time, you gotta spot a superhero among the regular supermarket customers. Pay very close attention to every single detail. Maybe it's this strong woman. Or this muscular man. Perhaps this teenager. There might be more to this man than meets the eye. And the superhero is actually the teenager. Have you noticed that mask sticking out of his bag? Good for you! So the correct answer is C. And the last riddle of this level. You need to figure out which of these people is an extraterrestrial visitor. Is it this young lady? Or this scientist conducting eerie experiments? It might be this young lady with weird hair. Perhaps it's this unfriendly man. The correct answer is D. His black mustache doesn't match his white beard. Plus, there's something weird going on with his glasses, see? No temples and earpieces. Now, if you have at least 3 right answers, you can proceed to level 2. Good job! Now, you need to figure out the answers without any hints. No options to choose from. Look at this elderly lady. How cute! She must definitely love her pets. A bit too much, I'd say. Otherwise, she might have noticed something weird going on with one of them. What do I mean? This cat is very suspicious. It has a dog's tail. One of the people invited to this party is a thief. Can you turn on your inner detective and catch the criminal? Here he is, trying to snatch a bracelet from this woman's wrist. This picture is truly idyllic, until you look closer. Then you'll realize that something is spoiling this perfect image. Can you figure out what it is? First of all, the man's cup is turned upside down, and for some bizarre reason, he still pretends to be drinking out of it. And secondly, look at the woman. She's pouring orange juice into her glass, but it's filling with something red. Ooh, we've got some pretty dedicated gamers here. But I'll say they must have been playing for too long already. There's something wrong with both of them. Take a look. The guy on the right has put his hoodie on in the wrong way. The hood is in the front, duh. And the guy on the left is holding the controller incorrectly. A true professional, LOL. And the toughest of them all, this time you'll have to crack real detective riddles. Detective Andrea decided to have a meal at a cafe. But as she came closer, she saw a crying lady. The woman explained that when she had been crossing the road, some woman had grabbed her bag and rushed into the cafe. The detective and the woman entered the cafe. The lady recognized her bag. It was right between two women. But she couldn't recognize the one who had taken it since she hadn't had time to look at her carefully. Andrea didn't need much time to figure out which woman was guilty. How about you? If we face the woman, the thief is the one on the right. The woman on the left has her left arm in a cast. If she had taken the purse, she'd have to put it on the right side of herself. Lucas was a talented architect who designed a unique skyscraper. The construction works were starting, and his boss asked the guy to show the site to a group of specialists from a competitor company. The only condition was that they weren't allowed to take any photos. When the group was going to leave, Lucas asked the security to detain one man. The architect claimed he had been taking photos during the tour around the site. How did he understand it? The man was carrying an umbrella. He kept pointing it at different objects, asking lots of questions. But the sky was cloudless. He actually didn't need the umbrella. A camera must be hidden inside. Ellis called her friend, Detective Evelyn Brown, and asked her to come as soon as possible. While the woman was away walking with her dog, someone had gotten into her house and stolen her laptop. Ellis was sure it was her neighbor, John. Evelyn went to question the man, but he wasn't at home. She decided to wait for him in her car. Soon, she saw John opening his door. It turned out he had gone fishing early in the morning and had just arrived. Evelyn didn't believe John and took him to the police station. Why? The guy is wearing white sneakers. But look at the puddles. It must have been raining since early morning. If he was out fishing, why do his shoes look so clean? Mrs. White claimed that her neighbor, Mrs. Black, had stolen her laundry. The woman said she had hung the laundry in her backyard at 10 a.m. And when she went out of the house 2 hours later, she saw Mrs. Black put the clothes in her bag. The other woman denied these accusations. Strangely, the police officer Mrs. White called detained her for trying to slander her neighbor. How did the detective figure out that Mrs. White was lying? It's freezing outside and there's snow on the roofs. Within 2 hours, damp laundry would have been so frozen it would have been impossible to fold it and put it in a bag. And the last riddle for today is a fairy tale one. Long ago, an evil witch took away 3 women and turned them into rose bushes. One of the women, who had children, begged the witch to let her see her family, and the witch agreed. She let the women go home for one night and turned her back into a rose bush the next morning. But the woman's husband followed his wife back. He saw 3 identical rose bushes and suddenly realized which one was his wife. How? The rose bush that was actually his wife didn't have any night dew on its leaves. Joe was an industrial archaeologist. He went to check out an abandoned factory in a remote area. He climbed up a long chimney using an old rotten ladder that was hanging around. But when he reached the top, the ladder fell. Now, Joe could yell for someone to come help him, or he could use old pieces of the ladder. He could also knock down the bricks one by one to get down. What should he choose? Well, let's see. Yelling for help won't do him any good since he was in a remote area and there was no one around to hear him. The ladder was way too broken, so that's a no-go. That's why he chose the last option. He knocked out the bricks row by row, eventually dismantling the chimney. Genius. Rachel met two interesting guys at the same party. They both claimed to be polar explorers and were trying hard to impress her. Bob took out his cell phone and showed Rachel a picture of a whalebone. He said he saw a beautiful whale last time he was in the Arctic and wanted to give her the whalebone. Patrick told her that once, during New Year's Eve, he was freezing cold and wanted to start a fire, so he unscrewed the lens of his binoculars, tore out pages from his field journal and started a fire. Rachel was smart and she immediately figured out who was lying to her. Can you figure it out too? Patrick was the liar. It's impossible to start a fire from sunlight on New Year's Eve in the Arctic. The sun disappears from October to March, causing something called the polar night. Rachel knew this, so she knew he was lying. It was finally Kim's wedding day. She booked the most expensive hotel in her town. Hundreds of guests flew in from different parts of the country. Everything was perfect. An hour before the ceremony, one of the guests called the receptionist saying that her multi-million-dollar necklace had been stolen. She left the room early to go to the pool, and when she came back, the necklace was gone. The police arrived quickly and said that the thief was probably still at the hotel. So they lined up all the guests and hotel staff to figure out who had stolen the necklace. After talking to everyone, they narrowed it down to 3 suspects. Brenda, one of the maids, said she was cleaning the bridal suite all morning. Roberta, the receptionist, said she didn't leave her desk all morning since she was greeting the arriving guests. Claire, the waitress, said she was serving drinks by the pool during the morning. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out who is the culprit? If you look closely, you'll see that there's something weird about the waitress. She isn't looking directly at her customer in the eye. Plus, take a look at the string from the tea bag. It's not really a string, it's the necklace's chain. She must have seen the guest at the pool and pulled off the robbery. It's Emma's first week at her new IT job in San Francisco. She got so caught up during the onboarding that she almost missed lunch. By the time she went down to the cafeteria, there weren't many options left. Take a look at the picture. What's Emma's safest choice? The burger looks nice, but there's a lipstick stain on the bun, so that's a no. The apple pie is steaming, but it looks like it's been microwaved dozens of times and it's about to go bad. Her safest choice is probably the frozen pizza. They defrost it on the spot. Hey, at least she won't get food poisoning. Serena swiped left on a cute guy named Jonathan, and they set up to meet for dinner in New York City. Serena arrived at the restaurant, but there were 3 different men sitting alone. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out which one of them is Jonathan? The guy on the first table is probably not alone, since there's a purse hanging on the chair in front of him. His date is probably just in the bathroom. The second guy is probably at a business meeting, since you can see someone left their blazer on the table. It's the third guy. Plus, if you look closely, he's wearing a necklace with a J on it. To get out of an AI-simulated reality, Eddie has to ace this evil AI's tests. For his first challenge, he's taken to a restaurant where a waitress shows him 4 glasses. Each glass is filled with the same liquid water and has an object inside of it. The first cup has a paperclip inside it. The second has a pen, and the third glass has a phone. The waitress asks Eddie which glass has more water than the rest. Can you figure out the correct answer? The paperclip weighs almost nothing, while the other objects are way heavier. This means that there is probably less water inside the other glasses. He should pick the first cup. To sweeten things up, this crazy AI creates a virtual baking competition that Eddie has to win. There were 3 judges, and they each told Eddie what their favorite cake was. The first judge expressed his love for chocolate pies. Judge number 2 said he loved berry pies more than anything in the world. And Judge 3 said he was fond of pecan pies. To win, Eddie has to figure out which one of them wasn't telling the truth. Can you figure out who it was? It was Judge number 2. Do you see the chocolate stains and pie crumbles on the second judge's shirt? That could only mean he was enjoying a slice of chocolate pie before arriving at the competition venue. Eddie was doing a great job beating the AI on his own game. For his final challenge, the AI took Eddie to a wedding venue, except that he was the groom. He needed to figure out which one of the women he was getting married to. Take a look at the image. Who is his bride? The first one looks like she has a commitment ring on, so it can't be her. The second one has half a heart tattooed on her ankle with 2 initials. She's probably committed as well. This leaves Eddie the last woman, and she's the bride. Claudia's boss asked her to pick up his car at the repair shop and get it back to the company's headquarters by lunchtime. Her boss was a tough man, and she didn't want to disappoint him, so she wanted to plan ahead to take the quickest route. Google Maps is showing her 3 different ways leading to the city center. Take a look at the image. Can you help her figure out which one is the best road to take? The first road has a lot of stop signs, so that's probably going to take her a long time. If you look closely, the second road went out of the city, but it had quite a few mud puddles along the way. That's not good if you're looking for speed. The best was probably the third road. It had just 1 roundabout, but is probably the fastest option. Jake is a young new musician, and he sent one of his original songs to a producer. But the producer was trying to pull a fast one on him. He wanted to release the song without giving Jake any credits. So Jake asked a friend to hack into the producer's PC. When he accessed his IP, a strange code appeared. Jake and his friend needed to decipher the code in order to break in. Take a look at the image. Can you figure out what the code stands for? It's way simpler than you might think. The answer is 1346172. You just needed to pay close attention and see that all the numbers were shown with their mirror reflections. Easy peasy.
Sarah and John invited 3 women to a dinner party at their home. Emily brought a red lipstick with her. Claire was wearing a bracelet that John had once mentioned he liked. And Julia had a handkerchief peeking out of her bag. Now, Sarah suspects that one of them is John's lover. But who? Let's see. Emily had a red lipstick, but it wasn't on her lips, so the kiss mark on John's neck isn't from her. John did compliment Claire's bracelet once, but she wears it every day. Now, Check out that handkerchief sticking out of Julia's bag. It has a J on it. John has a matching handkerchief with the same letter, which he always uses for special occasions like tonight. That means Julia is the secret lover. Lily was at a job interview for a journalist position. After some tough questions, the interviewer said she would get back to her later with the results. But Lily noticed that the interviewer had written E start in her notes. So, did she get the job or not? The letter E is written in red, and the word start is repeated twice. Put together, it reads, ready to start. Congrats on the new job, Lily! You made it! Susan broke up with Liam, and before moving out, she couldn't find her diary. So she told Liam, if you find it, promise me you'll throw it away without reading it. A year later, Liam found the diary. Despite the promise, he decided to open it anyway and saw the message. He then facepalmed. Can you guess why? Well, Liam finally understood why Susan left him. Check out the message backward. It reads, I cannot trust you. Ouch! Andrew got a job taking care of 3 quirky dogs for a wealthy and eccentric old man. The instructions were simple. Buddy loved beef, Luna preferred chicken, and Rocky enjoyed fish. But when it was time to feed the animals, Andrew only saw the numbers 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom of the bowls, and couldn't remember which bowl corresponded to which dog. Can you help him out? Look at the wall. The dogs are real champs, and the bowls match their medals. Buddy, who won first place, gets bowl number 1. Rocky, who came in second, gets bowl number 2. And Luna, who finished third, gets bowl number 3. Arthur was having dinner at Jack's, his childhood friend. After a while, Jack pulled out an old photo album. Arthur was having a great time flipping through it until he suddenly froze in shock. There was a photo from a senior school trip in 1994, and he was in it. But he didn't remember going. What was going on? Sadly, Arthur couldn't make it to that trip. His friends didn't want him to feel left out, so they attached a photo of Arthur's face to a stick and brought it with them. Christina was working when her mom called her, urgently telling her to hurry and open their safe at home. She revealed that the first numbers were 0, 6, and 16, but just as she was about to say the last number, the call dropped. Christina knew the code was 3 two-digit numbers in a sequence. Can you help her figure out the entire code? If you turn the code numbers upside down, you get 90 and 91. That means the next number in the sequence is 92. Phew! So, Jay Rush, a famous rapper, is hanging out in his super soundproof home studio, where absolutely no outside noise gets through. But suddenly, he hears a soft woman's voice singing. How is that possible? Take a look over there, in the corner. There's a baby monitor. The voice he heard was his wife singing a lullaby to their daughter upstairs. Leo is studying in Spain and has planned a romantic weekend in Paris with his girlfriend. Their flight is set for 7 in the morning. They both arrive at the airport at the same time, look at each other, and say, "I'm so sorry." So what are they apologizing for? Check the clock on the wall. It's 7 in the evening. That means they both overslept and missed their morning flight. Luckily, the airline put them on the next one. Alan is taking his driving test, and he's sitting there all nervous next to the instructor. Suddenly, a car zooms through a red light right in front of them. The instructor says, "Never do what that crazy driver just did." But there's something that shocks Alan even more. Can you guess what it is? The terrible driver is actually Alan's twin brother. Different haircuts, but the same face. What are the odds? Susan is writing a birthday card for her best friend and wants to cut it into a heart shape. But, oh no, she can't find her scissors. So, Susan goes to a store where she sees 4 options. Scissors for $2, $5, $15, and $30. Which pair does she buy? She picks the $15 pair. Let's remember that Susan wrote the card with her left hand, and the $15 scissors are the only ones designed for left-handed people. Thomas was in the library when he found a dusty old book titled Ancient Riddles. As he flipped through the pages, a card fell out with the word molar written on it. He quickly figured out that this card didn't belong in the book. How did he know? Well, molar is a type of tooth, and the word is written in blue. So the answer here is Bluetooth. Definitely a bit too modern for an ancient riddle, don't you think? At a birthday celebration at a luxury spa, Lily was proudly wearing her favorite designer bracelet. After a relaxing session in the sauna, everyone went back to the lounge, only to find that Lily's bracelet was missing. Can you guess what happened to it? The masseuse took it. Check out the lotion bottle. The bracelet is wrapped around the lid. Dennis plays soccer with his friends every week after work. One evening, he noticed that his sports socks were sewn together. In a hurry, he just wore his work socks to the game and forgot about it. The next morning, his wife looked pale and said, "We need to talk." Why was she so upset? Turns out, Dennis's wife sewed his sports socks together to see if he was cheating. She thought that if the socks were still sewn together the next day, it meant he'd skipped soccer for a secret date. Clara woke up suddenly at 4 in the morning to the sound of her phone hitting the floor. She thought it must have been the cat, but then she noticed that Mr. Whiskers was across the room staring at her. So how did the phone end up on the floor? Turns out it was a little earthquake. Clara figured it out when she picked up her phone and saw an earthquake alert on the screen. Tom is a new lifeguard at Splash Water Park Resort. He's watching over the wave pool when he suddenly spots an emergency. Can you figure out what's caught his attention? This kid doesn't have a floaty, but that's not an issue since she's in the shallow end. Look further back. See that hand sticking out between the floaties? Someone has slipped out of their floaty and is signaling for help. Dave, Emily, and Tom decided to play hide and seek at Emily's house. Emily quickly found Tom hiding behind the sofa, but no matter how hard they looked, Dave was nowhere to be found. Can you help Emily and Tom track down their missing friend? Dave hid in the bathtub and closed the shower curtain. Since the curtain matched the bathroom walls, it was super easy to miss. Kyle is on a nearly empty flight to New York, but the kid sitting next to him just won't stop crying. Frustrated, he asks the flight attendant if he can switch seats. She checks his passport, rolls her eyes, and says, "That's impossible." Why is she so annoyed? Turns out, the crying kid is actually Kyle's own daughter.
Martin was a widowed man who lived alone. One day, someone knocked on his door. When Martin went to check who had come to visit him, he was shocked to find his wife standing at the door. How is it possible? Well, I hope you've been attentive enough to notice a photo of Martin and his wife on the wall next to the door. The woman in the photo has a mole under her eye, but the woman who turned up in Martin's apartment has absolutely clear skin on her face. It must be Martin's late wife's twin sister. Foggy is a friendly ghost living in an abandoned house who loves floating around and scaring adventure seekers. But Foggy has 1 month of the year that he dislikes with every fiber of his being because during it, he gets to walk around way less than during the other months. What is this month? It's February. This month usually only has 28 days and nights, 29 max, to have fun. Look at these people stuck on the roller coaster. They're all in a dire situation, but one of them is going to fall first. So, for whom can this ride end in tragedy? The guy with blonde hair is likely to be the first to fall. While the others are holding on to some parts of the roller coaster, he isn't. The only thing that is still keeping him in the air is his pants, and they're bound to tear soon. I hope the rescuers will come in time. Spoiler, yeah, they do. It was a hot day, and Mark decided to make a bet with his friends. They were outside drinking water and lemonade, and Mark told his friends that water produced by different companies tasted different. He offered to blindfold him. He'd take a sip from 2 bottles of water, the one they had on the table and one from a different producer that he had seen in the kitchen. He promised he'd be able to tell the difference, and he did. But how? It was an extremely hot day, remember? That's why the water that had been outside for several hours was much warmer than the water brought from the kitchen. Now look at these athletes. The one on the left looks skinny and weak, while the other one is all muscles. The result may seem predictable, but still, who's going to win? The guy on the left will win, since he's cheating. Have you noticed that he's touching the table with his other hand? Mike was driving along a dangerous mountain road when he saw a man sitting on the side of the road. It turned out that the man hadn't managed to control his car and it had fallen off the road. The man got thrown out of the window, and now his very expensive car was beyond repair. The man asked Mike if he could be his witness when he prepared the documents for his insurance company. At first, Mike agreed, but when the man took the key out of his pocket and unlocked the damaged vehicle, Mike exclaimed that he wouldn't take part in that fraud. How did he figure out the man was lying? Well, if the man had been thrown out of the car, the key would still be in the ignition. Monica's husband Fred was a marathon runner. Before a challenging race, he promised Monica he'd bring her a bouquet they gave to the winner. A few hours later, he came back holding beautiful flowers. But Monica understood right away that Fred wasn't the winner. How did she figure it out? She recognized the flowers. They're actually from her own garden. There had been way more flowers before Fred left for the race. Look at this picture closely. There's something super terrifying about it. Can you figure out what it is? Have you spotted a ghost? It's right there in the top right corner, hidden in a balloon. Ew, creepy. Mr. Wilson's company is having a lot of financial problems, and to make matters worse, someone stole his safe with all the money he had. Mr. Wilson insisted that there had been several thieves, and the police, who came to investigate, asked the men why he was sure it was they. Mr. Wilson explained that his safe was too heavy for one person to carry. The police instantly realized Mr. Wilson was lying about the whole crime. How? If the safe had indeed been so heavy, it would have left some dents in the carpet. But look, there's nothing. Look at these two girls attentively. One of them is rich, and the other is just pretending. Can you figure out which girl fakes until she makes it? It's the lady on the right. Her phone looks old, and her designer bag is fake. How about these women? Who is fake rich? The lady on the left isn't likely to be rich. It seems like she's working now. Look at the poster behind her back. She's at the dentist's. She might be a model for a local commercial. Mr. Oliver Black urgently needed his assistant, but the guy was on vacation in the countryside. So, on Wednesday, Mr. Black sent him a letter asking the man to return as soon as he could. A few days passed, and still no assistant in sight. Mr. Black decided to go and check on the guy himself. When he arrived, he saw the assistant packing his stuff. He told his boss that he had received his letter just the day before and was going to leave in a half an hour. Oliver told the guy he was fired since he couldn't trust a person who lied to him. Why did Mr. Black say so? The calendar on the assistant's table shows that it's Monday, November the 4th, but there's no mail deliveries on Sundays, which means the guy was lying. Look at this picture carefully and try not to get scared. Your task is to count the monsters that are hiding there. How many can you find? There's 3 altogether. There's one behind the door, one behind the bed, and one more hiding beneath the bed. Scott, an infamous burglar, came home one evening. Just a day before, he had stolen some very expensive paintings from Mr. Smith's house. He was in the living room when he noticed several police officers approaching his home. Scott gave instructions to his wife and slipped out through the back door. When the officer knocked on the door, Scott's wife told him that her husband had been away for a week. She added that he was supposed to come home that day. At that moment, Scott entered the house. He hugged his wife as if they hadn't seen each other for ages. But the police officers didn't believe them. Why? Look at the dog. If its owner had been away for a week, the animal would be jumping around, happy and excited. But the animal saw Scott just a couple of minutes ago and isn't showing too much enthusiasm. Another criminal riddle for the most attentive. Look at these people and try to figure out which of them is stealing. Despite his unfriendly looks, the man on the left is just jogging. He's trying to lose some weight. The lady in red is pregnant. If she was trying to hide something under her top, she would hold it tight. It means the guy with the backpack is the thief. Not only does he look suspicious, but it also seems that his backpack can't fit all his belongings. And one more riddle about thieves. How fast can you crack it? Someone stole several expensive t-shirts from a designer clothing store. The manager told the security guard he had half an hour to find the thief. If he didn't make it in time, he'd be fired. The guard rushed to watch the CCTV footage. Luckily, he managed to figure out who the thief was before his time ran out. And do you know who it is? It's the man in the dark blue sweater. His belly miraculously became larger after he spent some time in the store. He must be hiding the t-shirts under his sweater. Well, how did you do? Tell me about it in the comments.
Oh no, here we go again. The Grinch has stolen all the Christmas presents once more, but this time his heart won't grow 3 sizes. Santa sent his best elves to negotiate a way to retrieve the gifts, but all the Grinch wanted was an arm wrestling contest with Santa. With little choice, Santa agreed and made his way to the Grinch's cave. The two squared off, their fists clenched, each determined to emerge victorious. For Santa, winning meant reclaiming the stolen presents. For the Grinch, it meant keeping the gifts all to himself forever. Look closely at the scene. Who do you think will come out on top? This isn't just a story of good triumphing over evil. It comes down to raw physical strength. Santa's arm is visibly muscular, which makes sense. How else could he carry that enormous sack? The Grinch, on the other hand, has a thinner, less robust arm. He might not be able to compete with Santa's strength. I guess this time Christmas is saved once again. But beware of the Grinch and his cunning tricks. Who knows what else he might have up his sleeve? No surprise that the Grinch was extremely mad about the lost arm wrestling contest, so he decided to take his revenge. After some thought, he concluded that the best way to ruin the celebration was to create a fake Santa. He could find some aspiring actor, dress him up, and provide him with the nastiest presents. After some preparation, the doppelganger was ready to bring chaos to the town. The elves figured out that there was an imposter among them, and one of them even managed to snap a photo of the fake Santa. They decided to create an ad to hang around town to inform people about how to tell a real Santa from a fake one. So what are the 3 details that can help distinguish the real from the fake? The beards are the same, the noses are the same, and the clothes too. But here's the first detail that gives the imposter away: the eye color. The real Santa has blue eyes, while the doppelganger has brown eyes. The second detail is that the fake Santa somehow doesn't have any eyebrows. Lastly, the fake Santa wears a tiny earring, while the real one doesn't wear any jewelry at all. Alright, it seems the Grinch has finally calmed down, allowing Santa and his elves to prepare for the Christmas season. It could have gone smoothly, but now there's a new problem. The trusty automatic gift dispenser, which allows the elves to quickly collect the gifts they need, is broken. Instead of only dispensing Christmas-themed gifts, it has started producing the wrong ones. It's all about those keys. They must have been misplaced when it was last fixed at the mechanics. So, which keys don't fit the Christmas theme? We have 3 misplaced keys here. The first one is right here. It's an SPF cream, which may not be the best match for the holiday season. Next, we have an ice cream cone. And lastly, there's a pumpkin. It fits perfectly for Halloween, but not for Christmas. The holiday season is intense, and sometimes there are so many gifts to pack that the elves don't even have time to prepare and eat lunch. To address this, Santa hired Jessie, a kind girl who is now in charge of keeping the elves happy and well-fed. On her first day in this new role, Santa handed her a shopping list and sent her grocery shopping. On the way to the supermarket, Jessie was unexpectedly confronted by none other than the Grinch. Luckily, he didn't harm her, but he did steal the list. The Grinch thought this would ruin Santa's plans, as hungry elves might go on strike. Jessie, however, was scared of losing her job, but she was too frightened to return and ask Santa for a new list, so she decided to figure it out herself. Looking at the shelves in the supermarket, what should she buy? Candy corn, syrup, and candy canes went straight into the trolley. Hot chocolate and marshmallows could be great additions as well. However, Jessie needed to avoid heavier foods that might upset the elves' stomachs. So, items like Wurstles, garlic, and bacon were off the list. Oh, and she could also grab some moss to treat the reindeer. Do you remember the stolen shopping list? It was taken on purpose. The Grinch couldn't recover from losing the arm wrestling contest, so he decided to ruin Santa's life. To do that, he needed to know what elves eat. His plan was to send an anonymous parcel filled with treats for elves, but these treats had to be poisoned. This way, the Grinch could eliminate the elves and maybe even Santa once and for all. He purchased sugar canes that elves loved and coated them with potent poison. Then, he had the parcel delivered straight to Santa's door. It was Jessie who opened it. She unpacked the food and placed the treats into the box where all the sugar canes were stored. When Alfie, the clever elf, came to pick one, he immediately realized that half of the treats weren't safe. How did he know? Well, if you recall, the poison Grinch coated the sugar canes with had a yellowish tint. If you mix red and yellow, you'll end up with orange. Therefore, the sugar canes with orangey stripes weren't safe to eat. But Alfie decided to play it safe and get rid of all the sugar canes altogether. After all, you can never be too sure. The Grinch kept a close watch on Santa's house and soon realized that his sugarcane sabotage had failed. He concluded that in order to sabotage more effectively, he needed to get inside the house. Fortunately, there was a dinner party at Santa's, and he knew that Santa had invited a multitude of snowmen. So the Grinch fashioned a snowman disguise and prepared to crash the party. No invitation required, since Santa was always pleased to welcome any snowman. However, at the entrance stood Alfie, the clever elf, who was tasked with ensuring that no imposters slipped through the door. Can you help Alfie identify who shouldn't be let in? Look closely at the snowman holding a takeaway coffee cup. That beverage is hot, and if it doesn't melt the snowman entirely, it could very well melt one of its hands. This indicates that the snowman isn't made of real snow. It's just a costume concealing someone who definitely should not be attending the party. Alfie was well aware of the recent misfortunes unfolding around him. The sugar canes and the snowman imposter, he recognized that it was the Grinch behind it all. While he understood that the root of the Grinch's antics was his own ulcerated self-esteem, Alfie couldn't shake the worry that the Grinch might truly ruin the holiday season. To mend fences and brighten the situation, he decided to send the Grinch a gift accompanied by an apology note. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. The Grinch returned the package with a scrawled note that read, "I don't need no presents from you." So what was the real problem? It wasn't Alfie who had a beef with the Grinch, it was Santa. Moreover, the Grinch viewed Alfie as beneath him. The issue wasn't the gift itself, it was lovely, but Alfie shouldn't have claimed it was from him. If he had written, "Let's make peace, best wishes, Santa," who knows? Perhaps the Grinch might have accepted it. After the failed attempt to broker peace between the two camps, Alfie sought advice from Jessie. They discussed the situation and realized they needed to talk to Santa as soon as possible to persuade him to address the tricky dilemma involving the Grinch. They both came to the conclusion that they needed to convince Santa to make peace with the Grinch, even though they knew he would likely disagree. So, they decided to request that Santa grant one of their dreams. Santa agreed, but only if they could solve his riddle. The riddle was, where does Christmas go before Thanksgiving? After some contemplation, Alfie and Jesse figured it out. The answer was in the dictionary. With the right answer, they were now ready to task Santa to make their dream come true. They wanted to ask him to make peace with the Grinch. Let's hope Santa takes action, or else our Christmas could be ruined. Do werewolves bother you every full moon? Do ghosts haunt your attic? Do you suspect that your neighbor is a vampire? Well, Amelia is the person you need. She's a professional dealing with supernatural creatures, and here's what her regular day looks like. Right after waking up, Amelia had a simple mental warm-up before a hard-working day. She counted how many vampires there were in a hospital room, and it took her less than half a minute. How much time will you need? Well, the blonde woman has a bloody stain on her cheek. Suspicious. The twins seem to be vampires as well. The first one can't stand the light. The second one's feet are covered with mud. He must have been hunting barefoot last night. The black-haired lady holding her neck is turning into a vampire, and there's also one more vampire hiding beneath the bed. So, there are 5 vampires in total. Next, she decided to figure out which influencer was a vampire. Can you help her spot the supernatural creature? The first lady has a big collection of sunglasses. Is she trying to hide something? But why would she have a mirror then? Vampires have no reflection. The second lady, on the contrary, has no mirrors. She doesn't need them because she's a vampire. So she has a rail to hang on when she turns into a bat. On the first real case today, Amelia has been invited to investigate a biting case at a wedding. Shockingly, it's the groom himself who's been bitten. The bride and her maids look pretty suspicious. The redhead has fangs. The bride has a stain on her dress. And the black-haired lady has blood on her lips. Who's guilty? Look at the groom's body language. He's trying to ask for help, looking at the redhead, so she's not the one who bit him. The bride was the one who was close enough to the groom to bite him and to get that bloody stain. As for the black-haired lady, she just seems to have some makeup malfunctions. Amelia went to buy coffee and found this boy. He got lost. Soon, 2 women, if we can call them this way, appeared in front of her. Both the vampire and the alien claimed that the boy was her son. Help Amelia find out who the mother of the child is, the vampire or the alien. Look at the toy the boy is playing with. It's a little alien, so it seems that the boy and the redhead alien are relatives. Amelia hardly had enough time to drink her coffee when a client wrote to her. He suspected that one of his 2 new maids was a werewolf. Amelia looked at the girls' rooms attentively and realized which one was a werewolf. Have you guessed? The room on the left is messy and untidy, while the right one is almost immaculate. But there's one weird thing. Look at the headboard. There are belts to keep werewolves in place when it's full moon. The girl occupying this room is a werewolf. Amelia went to investigate another case. Someone in this family secretly became a vampire and they bit the father a second ago. Can you help her understand who it was? There's something red on the boy's plate, but it's likely ketchup. He's eating a burger. The boy is drinking something red, but it can be simple juice. Look at the mother. She doesn't seem to be wearing any lipstick, and still, she's got something red next to her lips. She must be a vampire. Plus, she's the only person tall enough to reach the man's neck. A businessman called Amelia and invited her to his office. He was sure that one of his employees was a vampire. Look at these office workers attentively and find the one who's not human. The lady is drinking good old water, and you can see some drops on her chin. The man in a blue shirt is drinking soda. We can see some bubbles in his glass. The blonde man seems to be drinking some tea or coffee, but we can't be sure since his cup isn't transparent. One more hint that he's a vampire is extensive makeup on his face and foundation stains on his white shirt and the plate. It means he covered his pale skin on his face and palms with makeup. He must be the vampire. In the afternoon, Amelia traveled to the seaside to crack some cases connected with mermaids. For example, she had to figure out which mermaid was this man's wife. Have you understood it too? Do you see that tattoo on the man's neck? It's the letter L. The mermaid on the right has a tattoo as well. It's the letter J. They almost likely had the first letters of each other's names tattooed on their skin, so they must be husband and wife. While she was on the beach, Amelia was watching people, and suddenly she realized that one of them wasn't human. Look at these young people playing beach volleyball. Can you figure out who's not human? It's this girl. If you compare her with her friends, she's the only one who's not sweating and isn't red-faced because of the heat and exertion. Amelia decided to take a bus to get to the city. At one point, she realized that some of the passengers on that bus were zombies. Can you spot them too? There are 2 zombies on the bus. This man with a bandage on his neck and one ear missing. And this business lady sitting near the window. She's making bizarre growling noises. After arriving at the city, Amelia found out that a robot had committed a crime. Unfortunately, the police were unable to catch the culprit immediately, but they suspended 3 people, and each of them could be the criminal. They invited Amelia to figure out the true identities of those people. She had a knife, a screwdriver, a bottle of water, and a pen. Which object should she use to reach her goal? Amelia should make the suspects drink from the bottle. The robot will either refuse or short circuit. A scared store owner called Amelia, claiming there was a vampire in his store. When she arrived there, she couldn't find the store owner, but there were 3 other people inside. Look at them attentively and help Amelia figure out which of them is a vampire. Well, the first one's eyes are pretty red, but maybe he hasn't had enough sleep or is coming down with the flu. The second visitor seems to be freezing. Almost all parts of her body are covered with some clothing. Could be the air conditioning. But look at the third person. He's drinking something red from a glass using a straw. He must be the vampire you're looking for. Now, where is that store owner? Amelia decided to drop by her office, and coincidentally, a very pale woman covering a bite on her neck with her hand entered. She said that when she'd been going home the evening before, someone had attacked her and turned her into a vampire. She wanted to find the culprit. After investigating the case, Amelia had 3 suspects. Look at them attentively and find the one who turned the woman into a vampire. This elderly man has no teeth, so he can't be a vampire. This woman has tan marks, but vampires can't sunbathe. So the man wearing gloves must have turned Amelia's client into a vampire. Since it was almost the end of the week, Amelia decided to take a mini vacation and go to visit her friends in Miami. During dinner, they told her about a mysterious mansion with a very bad reputation. Those who once entered it never came back. Amelia went to explore the building. Soon, she realized she was lost. Suddenly, she found herself in a large room with 4 doors. Behind the first door, there was a mummy. Behind the second door, a vampire was hiding. The third door led into the den of a hungry wolf, and behind the fourth door, there was a ghost. Which door should Amelia opt for to get out of the mansion unharmed? The mummy can potentially be very dangerous. The vampire behind the second door is also far from friendly. The wolf, especially hungry, can easily attack a person. In comparison, the ghost is relatively harmless. Amelia should choose the fourth door. And which supernatural creature scares you most? Comment below.
Our guy Noah here is a student working at a restaurant every night in order to make some extra money to pay the bills. At work, he sees the most absurd things possible. Sometimes he even has to crack detective cases. Let's help him, shall we? Noah arrives at work on the first day of the week and notices something unusual. 3 very well-dressed ladies are sitting at a table. He starts watching them and soon realizes that one of them is just pretending to be rich. Can you figure out which one it is? It's the woman in the middle. She's wearing a fake watch. The real brand is called Chanel and not Channel. After figuring out this mystery, Noah goes back to the kitchen to check if anyone needs help. There, he sees 2 cooks arguing. One of them is accusing the other of having poisoned the food. Ooh, that's a very serious accusation. But who really tried to poison one of the dishes? The chef on the right has a few stains left by food on his uniform. But after all, his job is cooking. Now look at the one on the left. His uniform is very clean, but there's a bottle in one of his pockets. Despite his speckless clothes, he is the culprit. Noah follows this chef after he storms out of the kitchen and discovers him rummaging through the trash cans outside the restaurant. The guy wonders what else he might be hiding. So he pays closer attention to the situation and soon understands what looks strange there. The trash cans, they're empty. It must mean that the guilty chef has already thrown away the poison and discarded the trash bags to get rid of any evidence that he attempted to commit a crime. Noah decides to keep an eye on the guy. Then, Noah returns to the restaurant through the front door and finds 2 customers looking like identical twins arguing in front of the receptionist. One accuses the other of being an imposter and says that he is the one who actually reserved the spot. Can you help Noah understand who is lying? The customer in the coat is wearing a mask to look like the guy who actually reserved a spot at the restaurant. Have you noticed this patch of skin on his wrist? His skin color is actually different from that on his face, which in reality is just a mask. Noah decides to go check the bathrooms to see if everything is okay. Outside, in front of the sink and mirrors, 2 women are standing. Suddenly, a new presenter announces on the radio that a dangerous female criminal has escaped from a maximum security prison. Strangely, both of the ladies look worried after hearing this. Noah immediately realizes that one of them has escaped from prison. But which one? The second woman, who is putting on makeup, is the fugitive the police are looking for. The bracelet on her wrist is actually not a real bracelet. It's a broken handcuff. She managed to escape, but she was unable to remove the handcuff completely. The next evening, Noah is serving one of the tables when he notices something strange about the customers sitting there. One of them seems to be not who they claim to be. Which one is it? The bearded man is actually a woman. Have you noticed her elegant hands with long nails she's hiding under the table? Plus, it looks like her mustache has unglued from one side. Uh-oh. Noah is the last one to leave the restaurant that night. Before he rounds the corner, he hears some suspicious noise and turns around. Oh no! Someone is sneaking into the restaurant. Noah calls the police and rushes inside to investigate. He switches on the lights and, at first sight, sees nothing out of the ordinary. But soon he realizes where the intruder is hiding. Have you spotted them too? A pair of boots are sticking out from under that curtain. That's where the intruder is hiding. The police arrive fast and arrest the intruder. Noah is finally free to go home. But the universe seems to be laughing at him that night. At one point, he realizes he's lost his way. In front of him, there are 3 roads. Which one should he opt for to stay safe? The road on the left doesn't have any streetlights further ahead and plunges into darkness. It might be unsafe to go there. The road on the right is guarded by a few unfriendly dogs. So, even though this street in the middle is very narrow, it's probably the safest option for Noah. Luckily, Noah gets home without any problem. To calm down, he decides to drink some chamomile tea with sugar. But he's so tired, he can't figure out which of these 3 jars contain sugar. Can you help our poor guy? Well, the substance in the jar on the left is pinkish, so whatever it is, it's not sugar. The jar in the middle contains something that looks like fine dust. It must be flour. So, the jar on the right is filled with sugar. Once, Noah's friends, Liza, Laura, and Mia, came to his restaurant. After the meal, they asked him if he could help them split their $56 bill. Noah did as they asked. As a result, Liza paid twice as much as Laura, and Laura paid twice as much as Mia. How much did each person pay? Mia paid $8, Laura paid $16, and Liza paid $32. The girls told Noah that they parked their cars not far from the restaurant, and the guy went to see them off. It had been snowing all evening, but surprisingly, they saw that only 2 cars had snow on them. Why was the 3rd car snow-free? Look, the 3rd friend was parked under a tree. It blocked the snow. Noah is going to work. Suddenly, he stops and stares at the scene in front of him. All because he realizes that not 1 but 3 things seem to be off in this street. What made Noah stop? First of all, it's these traffic lights. I mean, where's the red? Then, look at this tram. It doesn't have doors. Creepy. And finally, there are no tram tracks. Yep, there's something seriously wrong with this tram. A man rushed into the restaurant, claiming he had heard a very loud noise coming from the house next door. He was afraid to go investigate alone, so Noah went with him. They ran inside and found the house owner on the floor of his bedroom, tied and gagged. Once free, he said he had been in bed reading a book when a man in a black mask broke into his room. The criminal tied him up, took all his money, and disappeared. Noah didn't believe the man's story. Why? There isn't even a wrinkle on the covers of the bed. Something doesn't add up. The man must be lying, or the burglar is a very neat dude. Noah's colleague, Julia, who had helped him that day, called the restaurant and told the guy that she was running a bit late, but she promised to come at 8. When she finally showed up at 8:02, Noah was furious. Why? Noah works night shifts, so, of course, he thought Julia would come in at 8 p.m., but the girl showed up at 8:02 a.m. Noah's boss gave the guy a sack with coffee beans and asked him to fill 2 empty sacks with the beans from the first sack. But the problem is, all 3 sacks are of the same size. How can Noah do it? He should put one of the empty sacks into the other and then fill it with coffee beans. Well, Noah's boss is away, but he needs to check some documents on his computer. So he calls Noah and asks for help. But the computer is password protected. The only hint Noah finds is a note hidden under the keyboard. It has these numbers and words. Can you help the guy figure out what the password is? It's moonlight. The number in front of each word refers to the corresponding letter of this word. Now, did you guess all of them correctly? Good job!
You were traveling through Egypt, got lost from your group, and ended up in an ancient pyramid. 3 passageways lie before you. The first leads to a room filled with gold. The second is hidden behind a stone slab with an image of the sun. And the third one leads you to a dark tunnel with a chilling breeze. Which pathway leads you to safety? Here's a tip. You should follow the beliefs of ancient Egyptians. You should pick the second path. The Egyptians believed in the power of the sun, so perhaps that's your safest choice. It's your first date with an archaeologist. He takes you to an ancient site and shows you the inscriptions marked on the wall of an old sacred site. You notice there are several numbers on the wall that form a sequence: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. But the other numbers are blurred. He asks you if you can figure out which numbers come next. Can you? The numbers that follow would be 13, 17, 19. This is a sequence of prime numbers, which can only be divided by 1 and themselves. A team of archaeologists discover 2 statues in an ancient city, but after a few studies, they uncover that one is a fake. One of the statues is made of marble, and the other is made of bronze. Both look flawless and untouched by time. Can you tell which one is fake? It's the bronze one. Real ancient bronze statues end up a bit greenish due to oxidation. So if this statue looks brand new, it means it's fake. It's quiz night and the theme is ancient Egypt. To win $100, you need to answer correctly. How many husbands did Cleopatra have during her life? 1, 3, or 4? It's believed she was married 3 times. Her first 2 husbands were her brothers, and the last was the famous Mark Antony. You're walking deep within the desert in Egypt when you come across an ancient building with 3 sand pits in front of it. Each pit contains a half-buried object. The inscriptions on the wall warn you that only the pharaoh's gift will open the door to the temple. You see a golden scarab on the first pit, an ancient staff with the sun emblem on the second, and a stone Ankh tablet on the last one. Which sacred object should you pick? The ancient staff. That's because the golden scarab is a symbol of wealth, but it was often placed in tombs as an offering to the ones who passed away. The Ankh represents life, but sacred stone symbols in tombs were often part of protective magic. Touching them could trigger a curse. The sun plus the staff were symbols of power and authority of the great pharaohs. A time machine takes you back to ancient Rome. When you arrive at the door of an old temple, the guardian of the temple gives you a vase with the equation ix plus xi equals what written on it. It's your task to figure out the result. What's the answer, genius? The answer is XX, or 20 in our language. IX in Roman numerals stands for 9, while XI is 11, so the total sum is 20. You're at your best friend's house. She's a mystic and believes in the power of symbols. She asks for your help to choose the logo of her new company, based on ancient Egyptian beliefs. She asks you if she should pick a star, the moon, or the sun. What do you think she should pick? To have a prosperous business, she should pick the sun. In ancient Egypt, the sun represented the deity Ra. The sun represents vitality, warmth, light, and prosperity. You're doing your master's in ancient Greece, so you take a semester to go abroad and study the culture closely. One night, during a fancy dinner party, a professor challenges you. She makes you choose one out of 3 cups. The first cup is labeled with the symbol Psi, and it's a drink used in sacred rituals. The second is O, and it's the drink of rulers and kings. The last is L and contains river water that leads to oblivion. Which cup should you choose to gain more wisdom for your masters? The first one. The Greek letter Psi is a symbol often associated to the psyche, which can probably reveal great things about one's inner world. Your archaeology group decides to explore a long-sealed resting place. When you enter the main chamber, you discover an inscription that says that whoever touches the serpent's sign shall know eternal sleep. What must you avoid touching in this place, explorer? Well, you should never touch the cobra symbol. In ancient Egypt, the cobra was a protector of the pharaoh, but was also associated with some pretty hardcore curses. This term's history test is filled with questions on ancient civilizations. To get an A+, you need to answer this one correctly. Which of the following monuments was built first? The ancient Sphinx, the Tower of Babel, or Machu Picchu? The Great Sphinx of Giza. It dates back to around 2500 BCE. The Tower of Babel is mentioned in ancient texts, but has no confirmed historical date. And Machu Picchu was built much later, around the 15th century CE by the Inca civilization. Your crazy scientist friend let you use his time machine, but it was led by an AI that made you answer a question before using it. It told you that to travel to ancient Egypt, you needed to know which of these things the Egyptians weren't masters of: architecture, mathematics, astronomy, or golf. Can you guess? It's golf, of course. Ancient Egyptians were master builders and mathematicians. They were also readers of the sky, but they hadn't figured out golf yet. You find yourself in Crete for a family vacation. You decide to explore an ancient labyrinth, and you come to an intersection. The first path is marked by a bull's head. The second is carved with a spiraling seashell. And the third leads to an open doorway, but there's smoke coming out of it. Which path should you choose? The second one. In ancient Greece, the civilization of the Minoans revered the sea. The spiral pattern represents life, eternity, and spiritual energy. so I bet that's the way you should go. You were watching a movie with your friends about the Great Sphinx of Giza when you spotted some serious factual mistakes. The movie said that the Sphinx lost its nose after a heavy thunderstorm, but you know that it's not sure. You ask your friends to pick one of the most popular myths regarding the Sphinx's ripped nose, asking them if it was either Napoleon's doing or an angry man's fault. Which of these is the correct answer? One of the biggest myths says it was Napoleon who destroyed the Sphinx's nose. Your favorite barista is feeling funny today and asks you to answer a history buff question. If you had to travel back in time and choose the civilization that built their cities first, who would you choose? The Mayas in Mexico, the Mesopotamians in the Middle East, or the Romans in Europe? Since you're a genius, you said the Mesopotamians. The first city they built was called Eridu, and it was built around 5,500 BCE. Your archaeology teacher asks you to go to the public library to find a rare document. You ended up finding an old inscription talking about a ruler named Augustus. Based on his name, do you think he belonged to the Mayan civilization, the Minoans, or the Romans? He belonged to the Romans. Augustus was the first emperor of Rome, genius. Your friend accidentally time travels to an ancient city where people are speaking Latin. To find them and bring them back, you need to figure out where they are. On the top of your mind, you think it can be Athens, Rome, or ancient Babylon. Which city do you look at first? Rome. Latin was the language of the Romans.
Olivia here is a young mom, and boy, her life can get pretty hectic. But with your help, I'm sure it's going to get much easier. One day, she came home with a stroller, took off her coat, checked her phone, and went to change her baby, Jordan. Just a minute later, she needed to leave again, but she couldn't find her keys. Wow. Can you help her figure out where they are? I wonder if you noticed that she put them in the stroller pocket while checking her phone. Olivia's baby drinks 5 ounces of baby formula at a time and eats 5 times a day. How much milk should Olivia prepare for 2 days? Ooh, some math. Olivia needs to prepare 50 ounces of milk, which is 5 ounces times 5 times 2 days equals 50 ounces. One day, Olivia put Jordan down to nap, but 10 minutes later, the baby started crying. The woman rushed to the bedroom to see what had happened. Oh no, the pacifier was gone. Olivia searched the crib and the floor, but it was nowhere to be found. Where could it be? Look at the baby's tiny fist. The pacifier is clutched in it. Jordan probably squeezed it while falling asleep. Olivia was washing 8 pairs of baby socks. When she hung them up to dry, she realized 1 sock was missing. How many socks are left? Can you help her count? Now, there are only 15 socks. 8 pairs minus 1 sock equals 15. Perfect. But now, we gotta help Olivia find the missing sock. Can you see it? Yep, it's on the baby's little foot. Olivia must have gotten distracted and put it on Jordan without realizing it. Once, Olivia took Jordan for a walk in the park. There, she saw 2 women with strollers. One of them is a young mom, and the other is a nanny. Can you help Olivia figure out who the real mom is? The woman on the right is a nanny. She's holding a planner with the child's schedule, feeding times, naps, walks, activities, stuff like that. The real mom doesn't need any notes because she remembers everything. Or she thinks she does. When Olivia's kid grew a little bit, they got invited to their neighbor's child's birthday party. But when they came there, Olivia saw something very strange. Can you figure out what appeared strange to her? If you've noticed it, you're very observant. The woman seems to be filling the kids' cups with milk. But how is she doing it if the jug is actually empty? Ooh, what if she's an alien? Oops, wrong video. Never mind. One day, Olivia's 10-year-old niece visited them. To treat the kids, the woman cooked delicious pastries and left them on the kitchen table. Suddenly, her phone started ringing and she left the children alone for a minute to answer it. When she came back, one of the pastries was missing. Olivia's niece said it was Jordan who took the pastry, but Olivia didn't believe her. Why? Jordan is too short not only to grab the pastry but to even reach the table. The girl must have eaten the pastry and is now trying to frame the kid. Olivia and Jordan were invited to another birthday party. Look at the food the hosts are treating them with and help the woman figure out which dish is safe for her kid. Well, I wouldn't risk eating this cake. It smells really bad. Flies are resting on these cookies. Luckily, these apples look safe to eat. It's Jordan's first day at a nursery school. Both Olivia and the kid are excited, and they don't want to be late. But here's a problem. There are 3 paths leading to the school building. Please help Olivia choose the best way. The road on the left is blocked by a fallen tree further ahead. The path in the middle has an open maintenance hole, which can lead to an accident. At the same time, the road on the right looks pretty safe. They should pick this route. Olivia and Jordan were on the playground. Jordan was playing in the sand, and Olivia was watching him. Suddenly, the woman realized that one of the kids' toys was missing. It was an orange teddy bear. She looked around and saw only 3 other people around. Can you figure out who took the bear? It was that elderly man. Look, the teddy bear's paw is sticking out of his pocket. Who knows why he took it? Some years later, Olivia left Jordan alone at home for the first time and told him to be a good boy. But when she came back an hour later, she understood that the boy had done something he shouldn't have done. Look at the room attentively and try to figure out what 3 things upset Olivia. First of all, look at those brown crumbs on the floor near the bed. Jordan ate some chocolate cookies. The TV remote is not in the same place as before. The boy must have taken it to switch on the TV and watch cartoons. And finally, he was in a creative mood. Look at that drawing on the wall near the door. Jordan's birthday is around the corner, and the boy asks Olivia to invite his best friend to the party. Olivia is confused. Jordan is a very outgoing kid and has loads of friends. He's especially close to these 3 children. Look at Jordan's room and try to help Olivia figure out which kid is Jordan's best friend. It's this blonde boy. A kid's painting depicting him is hanging on the wall over Jordan's bed. Olivia invited not only Jordan's best friend, but also many other kids to her son's birthday party. When all of them showed up, she realized that one guest came uninvited. Can you spot the intruder? Look at this girl wearing a witch outfit. She was definitely going to a Halloween party. How did she end up at Jordan's birthday party? She was an alien. When it was time to bring in Jordan's birthday cake, Olivia was horrified. The cake was missing. The kids were all together and didn't leave the playroom, so it must be one of the parents who took the cake. Olivia switched on detective mode and soon understood who the thief was. Can you figure it out too? It's this granny. Look at her blouse, that dark stain. Isn't it chocolate? She's the one who took the cake. Hey, we should introduce her to the grandpa who took the orange teddy bear. What do you think? At first, Olivia panicked, but luckily, she found the solution fast enough. She called the nearest bakery and ordered another cake. They said they would send one immediately and asked her to pick a delivery person. Look at these 3 delivery people and select the most trustworthy. This guy on the left has a cast on his arm. Not very convenient for riding a bike, is it? The girl on the left seems fine, but look at her bike. The front tire is flat. So the man in the middle seems to be the safest bet. The party is over and Jordan is happy. He wants to count all the presents he's got. But they're all over the place. Look at the room very carefully and try to spot all the gifts. One, 2, 3. Well, these are easy to find. 4. It's under the bed. 5 and 6. One is on the armchair and the other is under the pillow on the bed. And finally, 7. It's hiding on top of the wardrobe. Jordan is now old enough to start studying French, and Olivia is looking for a tutor for her boy. Look at these 3 professionals and help the woman pick the best one. Look at this lady on the right. Her t-shirt has the Eiffel Tower and the word France on it, but the name of the country is written incorrectly. It should be spelled like this. What teacher doesn't know this? The man in the middle has a police badge on his shirt pocket. He must be a police officer. What is he even doing here? So the best and only option is this young girl on the left. Merci beaucoup. Hey, think you're a master of logic? Get ready to twist your brain into knots with these mind-bending riddles. 2 patients are in the hospital and connected to IVs that are keeping them alive. The guy is about to cut the girl's IV tube, but she's alert and ready to cut his IV tube any second. Oops! Who is in real danger here and why? Well, both of them are in danger. The IV tubes are crossed. The guy's IV bag is connected to the girl, and the girl's IV bag is connected to the guy. If either of them cuts the other's tube, they will actually cut off their own supply. Nye, nye, nye. Now this one is for the sharpest eyes only. Can you tell which of these ladies lives alone just by looking at the pictures? The woman on the left is not alone. There are 2 towels in the background, so someone else must be sharing the bathroom with her. Sally was dreaming about going on a road trip to Europe with her besties, but her parents didn't let her go. Instead, they gave her the money to join a knitting camp in Ohio. Everyone was happy until they demanded that she send them a photo. They instantly knew she was lying. How did they find out? Sally was smart enough to bring yarn and make her friends pretend they were avid knitters. But what is that in the background? Looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. They did go to Europe after all. The guy of her dreams just asked Liza out on a dream getaway for the weekend. The flight is leaving in less than 3 hours, and she literally has only a minute to get ready. Her closet is a total mess, and the only light bulb is out. She needs to find a pair of socks in this huge box in the dark. All of the socks are in her favorite colors, red, white, and blue. How many socks does she need to grab so she gets at least 1 pair of the same color? Luckily for her, Liza just needs to grab 4 socks. Even if 3 of them are all mismatching, the 4th one should match with one of the others. 2 happy couples just had the weddings of their dreams and posted photos to make everyone else jealous. But it looks like only one couple is actually wealthy enough to afford this wedding. Can you tell who's lying here? The couple on the right are faking it. Look closely, the setting isn't real. They are not at a tropical island, but at a photo studio. The couple on the left panel are truly wealthy. They are on a luxurious tropical vacation at a private beach. Aria's favorite author, Bella Wright, is coming to town for a book signing, but the only way to get a ticket is to solve a riddle the event organizer posted online. DEEF. Can you help Aria figure it out? It's feedback. Feed spelled backwards. Sarah checks into the Starlight Hotel. In the lobby, 3 porters offer to take care of her luggage. She has some really expensive clothes and watches inside, so she needs to be careful. Can you guess which of the porters she can trust with her stuff? The first porter has a uniform with the logo and name of a different hotel. The second porter has 2 golden watches, one on his left hand and one on his right. Looks like the left watch is too big for him, so he probably stole it. The third porter looks totally normal, so Sarah should choose him. Oh no, this girl is about to be eaten by a shark. Or is she? What happened here, and how did she survive? Look at her wristband. She's at an amusement park. The shark isn't real. Strange amusement if you ask me, but I hope she's having fun. Michael is a huge coffee fan, but he decided to try something new this year. Now, he drinks 1 cup of coffee every day, but on even days of the month, he also has a cup of matcha latte. How many cups of matcha latte will he have this year? All months but February have 30 or 31 days. There are usually 15 even days in each of those 11 months. If we multiply 15 by 11, we get 165 days. If there are 14 even days in February, then the total number of matcha lattes Michael will have in a year is 179. That's a lot of caffeine. Someone stole a tiny but really rare and expensive painting during an art exhibition. The detective arrived on the spot and found 3 suspects who were standing close to the crime scene. Of course, each of them claims it was not them. Liza says, "I want to run for mayor of the town. Why would I risk my reputation like this?" Anna says, "Excuse me, but I'm a billionaire. I have enough money to buy this entire gallery, so why would I steal?" Sammy, who works as a receptionist at the art gallery, says, "I had no idea this painting was so expensive. I'm new here. Who's lying?" Look at Anna's bag. Chanel is clearly misspelled, so it's a fake. Why would a billionaire wear it? I don't think so. She must be the real thief. Chucky and Lucky are twins. They were born in October, but their birthday is in November. How is this possible? October could be the name of their town, and November is the real birth month. Sam sees the girl of his dreams and instantly falls in love with her. He wants to know everything about her. but she refuses to share any information unless he solves a riddle. I'm twice as old as my sister, but in 10 years, I'll only be 1.5 times her age. How old am I now? Looks like his love is 20, and her sister is 10 years old. The girl didn't expect Sam to solve the riddle so easily, so now she wants him to solve another one before she tells him her name. She points to her car parked nearby. It's right there on my license plate. Can you figure out her name from this combination? Try reading it upside down. Her name is Amelia. The police arrived at a luxury beach resort early one morning. The night before, someone attacked the lifeguard and left him unconscious on the beach. 3 guests were suspected: Bella, Mark, and Sophie. The police searched their rooms for clues, and here's what they found. Can you tell who attacked the lifeguard by looking at these rooms? It was Sophie. She had no swimming gear or items for relaxing at the beach, so she wasn't at the resort for typical beach activities. She must have had a different reason for being there. Perhaps the boyfriend was Michael the lifeguard from the previous question, who was now hitting on Amelia. Just guessing. Let's move on. Mickey has 10 coins in his pocket, worth a total value of $1.55. One of them is not a dime. What coins does he have? It must be $1/2, 1 nickel, and 8 dimes. No one told you only one coin isn't a dime. Sandra decided to play a quiz game. She's asking the same question to everyone she meets, and each time she gets a different answer. Can you guess what the question is? What time is it now? Uh-oh, an evil AI genius has locked you in and makes you solve riddles to entertain them. You've been doing great so far, but one final riddle is the most important, as it will open the door. Please don't panic and try to solve it ASAP. Did you get it? 9:50 is 10 to 10, so it must be the villain's favorite time of the day. Yes, you're free to go now. Bye.
Do werewolves bother you every full moon? Do ghosts haunt your attic? Do you suspect that your neighbor is a vampire? Well, Amelia is the person you need. She's a professional dealing with supernatural creatures, and here's what her regular day looks like. Right after waking up, Amelia had a simple mental warm-up before a hard-working day. She counted how many vampires there were in a hospital room, and it took her less than half a minute. How much time will you need? Well, the blonde woman has a bloody stain on her cheek. Suspicious. The twins seem to be vampires as well. The first one can't stand the light. The second one's feet are covered with mud. He must have been hunting barefoot last night. The black-haired lady holding her neck is turning into a vampire, and there's also one more vampire hiding beneath the bed. So, there are 5 vampires in total. Next, she decided to figure out which influencer was a vampire. Can you help her spot the supernatural creature? The first lady has a big collection of sunglasses. Is she trying to hide something? But why would she have a mirror then? Vampires have no reflection. The second lady, on the contrary, has no mirrors. She doesn't need them because she's a vampire. So she has a rail to hang on when she turns into a bat. On the first real case today, Amelia has been invited to investigate a biting case at a wedding. Shockingly, it's the groom himself who's been bitten. The bride and her maids look pretty suspicious. The redhead has fangs. The bride has a stain on her dress. And the black-haired lady has blood on her lips. Who's guilty? Look at the groom's body language. He's trying to ask for help, looking at the redhead, so she's not the one who bit him. The bride was the one who was close enough to the groom to bite him and to get that bloody stain. As for the black-haired lady, she just seems to have some makeup malfunctions. Amelia went to buy coffee and found this boy. He got lost. Soon, two women, if we can call them this way, appeared in front of her. Both the vampire and the alien claimed that the boy was her son. Help Amelia find out who the mother of the child is, the vampire or the alien. Look at the toy the boy is playing with. It's a little alien, so it seems that the boy and the redhead alien are relatives. Amelia hardly had enough time to drink her coffee when a client wrote to her. He suspected that one of his two new maids was a werewolf. Amelia looked at the girls' rooms attentively and realized which one was a werewolf. Have you guessed? The room on the left is messy and untidy, while the right one is almost immaculate. But there's one weird thing. Look at the headboard. There are belts to keep werewolves in place when it's full moon. The girl occupying this room is a werewolf. Amelia went to investigate another case. Someone in this family secretly became a vampire and they bit the father a second ago. Can you help her understand who it was? There's something red on the boy's plate, but it's likely ketchup. He's eating a burger. The boy is drinking something red, but it can be simple juice. Look at the mother. She doesn't seem to be wearing any lipstick, and still, she's got something red next to her lips. She must be a vampire. Plus, she's the only person tall enough to reach the man's neck. A businessman called Amelia and invited her to his office. He was sure that one of his employees was a vampire. Look at these office workers attentively and find the one who's not human. The lady is drinking good old water, and you can see some drops on her chin. The man in a blue shirt is drinking soda. We can see some bubbles in his glass. The blonde man seems to be drinking some tea or coffee, but we can't be sure since his cup isn't transparent. One more hint that he's a vampire is extensive makeup on his face and foundation stains on his white shirt and the plate. It means he covered his pale skin on his face and palms with makeup. He must be the vampire. In the afternoon, Amelia traveled to the seaside to crack some cases connected with mermaids. For example, she had to figure out which mermaid was this man's wife. Have you understood it too? Do you see that tattoo on the man's neck? It's the letter L. The mermaid on the right has a tattoo as well. It's the letter J. They almost likely had the first letters of each other's names tattooed on their skin, so they must be husband and wife. While she was on the beach, Amelia was watching people, and suddenly she realized that one of them wasn't human. Look at these young people playing beach volleyball. Can you figure out who's not human? It's this girl. If you compare her with her friends, she's the only one who's not sweating and isn't red-faced because of the heat and exertion. Amelia decided to take a bus to get to the city. At one point, she realized that some of the passengers on that bus were zombies. Can you spot them too? there are 2 zombies on the bus. This man with a bandage on his neck and 1 ear missing. And this business lady sitting near the window. She's making bizarre growling noises. After arriving at the city, Amelia found out that a robot had committed a crime. Unfortunately, the police were unable to catch the culprit immediately. But they suspended 3 people, and each of them could be the criminal. They invited Amelia to figure out the true identities of those people. She had a knife, a screwdriver, a bottle of water, and a pen. Which object should she use to reach her goal? Amelia should make the suspects drink from the bottle. The robot will either refuse or short circuit. A scared store owner called Amelia, claiming there was a vampire in his store. When she arrived there, she couldn't find the store owner, but there were 3 other people inside. Look at them attentively and help Amelia figure out which of them is a vampire. Well, the first one's eyes are pretty red, but maybe he hasn't had enough sleep or is coming down with the flu. The second visitor seems to be freezing. Almost all parts of her body are covered with some clothing. Could be the air conditioning. But look at the third person. He's drinking something red from a glass using a straw. He must be the vampire you're looking for. Now, where is that store owner? Amelia decided to drop by her office, and coincidentally, a very pale woman covering a bite on her neck with her hand entered. She said that when she'd been going home the evening before, someone had attacked her and turned her into a vampire. She wanted to find the culprit. After investigating the case, Amelia had 3 suspects. Look at them attentively and find the one who turned the woman into a vampire. This elderly man has no teeth, so he can't be a vampire. This woman has tan marks, but vampires can't sunbathe. So the man wearing gloves must have turned Amelia's client into a vampire. Since it was almost the end of the week, Amelia decided to take a mini vacation and go to visit her friends in Miami. During dinner, they told her about a mysterious mansion with a very bad reputation. Those who once entered it never came back. Amelia went to explore the building. Soon, she realized she was lost. Suddenly, she found herself in a large room with 4 doors. Behind the first door, there was a mummy. Behind the second door, a vampire was hiding. The third door led into the den of a hungry wolf. And behind the 4th door, there was a ghost. Which door should Amelia opt for to get out of the mansion unharmed? The mummy can potentially be very dangerous. The vampire behind the second door is also far from friendly. The wolf, especially hungry, can easily attack a person. In comparison, the ghost is relatively harmless. Amelia should choose the 4th door. And which supernatural creature scares you most? Comment below. Mary and Sue headed outside to build a snowman in their yard. They topped off their frosty creation with a black hat. The next morning, they were shocked to find the hat missing. Determined to find the culprit, they questioned their neighbors. Mrs. Lee said she'd been busy baking cookies all evening and hadn't seen a thing. Mr. Carter claimed it was too cold to step outside. Tim, the boy next door, said he hadn't noticed anything out of the ordinary. So, who snatched the hat? It was Tim. He mentioned he hadn't seen anything unusual, but how could he know that if he hadn't looked outside? Plus, let's face it, pulling off a snowman's hat is exactly the kind of mischief a kid would get up to. On Christmas Eve, the Johnsons hung 5 stockings above the fireplace, 1 for each family member. The next morning, they found a 6th stocking filled with candy. No one fessed up to adding it. Who is the mystery stocking stuffer? It was Santa, of course. He left the extra stocking as a sweet surprise, just like he loves to do. On Christmas morning, the Smith family found all their presents under the tree unwrapped, but nothing was missing. The only clue was a trail of cookie crumbs on the floor. The suspects were the three kids: Emily, Tom, and Lily. Emily said she'd been decorating cookies in the kitchen. Tom claimed he'd been watching TV. And Lily said she'd been wrapping a gift in her room. Who unwrapped the presents? It was Emily. The trail of cookie crumbs matches the ones she was decorating. She must have snuck over to the tree to open the presents while munching on some cookies. At a corporate New Year's party, employees dressed up in costumes. There were 10 warehouse workers, 4 programmers, and several secretaries. The programmers dressed as squirrels, the secretaries as rabbits, and the warehouse workers split evenly, half as rabbits and half as foxes. In total, there were 4 squirrels, 10 rabbits, and 5 foxes. How many secretaries were there? There were 5 secretaries. Let's do the math. Half of the warehouse workers dressed as rabbits, making 5 warehouse worker rabbits. With 10 rabbits in total, that leaves 5 secretaries. Santa is known for skipping presents for the naughty. This year, he's got a puzzle. 3 women stand before him, and one has been very mischievous. Santa needs to figure out who it is. The first woman is dressed as a police officer, holding handcuffs. The second is in a maid costume, holding a duster, with the head of a teddy bear in her pocket. The third is in a teacher's outfit, wearing glasses and holding a pointer stick. Santa takes a closer look and spots the troublemaker. Who is it? It's the maid. Look behind her back. Those are the legs of the teddy bear sticking out. She ripped off the teddy bear's head. Definitely naughty. Luke headed to the mall to snag some new Christmas decorations without breaking the bank. He had a strict budget of $10 and not a penny more. Luckily, the mall had a promo. For every 3 baubles he bought, he'd get 1 free. Each bauble cost 90 cents. So how many baubles could Luke take home with his $10? First, let's see how many baubles he can buy. A quick bit of math helps here. $10 will get him 11 baubles, since 11 baubles cost $9.90, fitting perfectly within his budget. Now, let's figure out the freebies. We divide 11 by 3, which gives us 3 with a remainder. Since you only get a free bauble for every complete set of 3, Luke gets 3 free baubles. So, with $10, Luke can walk away with a grand total of 14 baubles. Not bad for a thrifty shopper. One winter morning, Mr. Jackson stepped out to his front yard and saw a mysterious figure standing there. The figure didn't move, speak, or do anything unusual. The next morning, the same thing happened. But Mr. Jackson didn't seem to mind having such a guest in his front yard. The figure stayed for several weeks, but then it disappeared. Why and what happened? It simply got warmer, and the figure melted away because it was a snowman. It so happened that while Santa was sleeping, Krampus locked him in his room with no way to get out. But that doesn't mean the kids won't get their gifts. They will, as Krampus has his own plans. Traditionally, Krampus would punish naughty kids with birch rods, but this year, he's feeling generous. Each kid will get to choose 1 out of 3 boxes, and only 1 will contain an actual gift. The other 2 will have, well, let's just say they'll be pranks. Can you guess which one of these 3 boxes has the real gift? It's the box on the left. The one might have appealing wrapping, but the flies buzzing around it make it look suspicious. As for the box on the right, see those black fingerprints? It's probably full of coal. So the box on the left looks the safest. Actually, it's not entirely true that Santa had no way out. Long story short, he managed to escape that room and Christmas was saved once again. But how did he do it? Let's rewind a bit to Santa's room. Take a closer look. Sure, the window is too small and too high up for Santa. But remember how he usually gets into houses? That's right, through the chimney. And guess what? There's a fireplace in the room. Santa could have waited for the fire to go out, but there was a bucket of water right next to it. So Santa used the chimney to escape. Chloe was getting ready for Christmas dinner. She wanted to bake some cute Christmas cookies, but she didn't have enough ingredients in her kitchen. So she wrote a grocery list and gave it to her husband. However, she made it a bit tricky. Instead of words, she drew a picture. It showed a cow in a bottle with a lot of flowers around it. Based on this picture, what was Chloe's husband supposed to buy? A bottle of milk and a lot of flour. Okay, let's play Santa. These three guys, Jake, Glenn, and Finn, don't believe in Santa anymore, so they didn't bother writing any letters to him. But Santa really wants to make them happy by bringing them gifts. So he sends a few of his elves to observe the guys and figure out which present would make each of them happy. Can you help them out? First up is Jake's room. Which gift would be the best for him? Jake seems to be really into music, so a shiny new guitar would be a perfect match. Next, there's Glenn's room. What is the best possible gift for him? Judging by all the posters on his wall, Glenn likes skateboarding. And if you look closely, you'll see that his skateboard is broken and tucked under his desk. So Santa can make him happy with a new skateboard. Finally, there's Finn's room. This one seems a bit harder. His room doesn't have many clues like the others did. Pay attention to the smallest details. Let's see. Plain gray walls, nothing interesting. The desk is pristine, not a trace of anything that could give us a hint. Look, there's a cat bed that's empty. No cat photos, no cat bowls. Nothing that shows there's an actual cat living there. Does that mean all Finn wants for Christmas is a cat? Maybe, but giving a pet as a gift isn't very sensible, so Santa will get him a nice plush cat instead. Okay, everyone got their gifts, but what about Santa? You need to show your gratitude for the gifts. While it might be hard to pick the perfect gift for him, he can't resist yummy food. Take a look in the fridge and see what you could treat Santa to. Of course, it's milk and cookies. Traditionally, it's a glass of milk and some cookies that you leave out for Santa, so make sure to stock up before the festive season. Cheers!